Welcome to Astrology and Crime. I'm your host, Val Evans. In this episode, we're going to review the predictive charts for Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump. Now, of course, Jeffrey Epstein is the American financier and child sex offender. And we're hearing a lot about him in the past few months. It is just that name, that person who just won't go away and continues to haunt people in his life, the life that he used to have. We can use Jeffrey Epstein's soul return chart to gauge timing on information that might be leaked in the next few months. What will leak and how it will affect his former friends and partners. We're looking at Clinton and Trump's charts too. Got a bunch of charts. There was this one that I had to pull right at the last minute, of course, and it was wanted to see the 2019 solar return chart for Trump. In 2019, that's when Jeffrey Epstein unalived himself. I wanted to see how that could be seen in Trump's chart. So, of course, solar return charts are predictive methods. So you can see your own future and you can find out what the heck happened in the past. You can find out a lot of answers to mysteries using your solar return chart. And of course, the solar return runs from your birthday to the next birthday. So this video is for entertainment purposes. This is Epstein's 2025 solar return chart. And of course, he is past. So why does it make sense to look at someone's chart when they've passed? Well, you can still see what's happening in their lives, in the lives without them. So you'll be able to see his former associates. You'll be able to see his enemies. You can see family, um, and basically how he might be causing trouble for other people, even though, I mean, basically you're saying beyond the grave. So that's how we're going to look at this. Okay. And so it starts on January 19th. That's when Epstein was born. So that's when his 2025 chart is going to start. And so we're going to go all the way around to the other side because we've already gone through these months. I'll bet it'd be really interesting to look and see what was going on here because so much has been going on. Notice the stellium in Libra. And what does Libra represent? It represents bad politicians. And so they're definitely significant in Epstein's chart generally and for this year. So bad politicians are having a hard time. And you can see that because how do you know when somebody's having a hard time in a solar return chart? Well, you're going to look for the T squares, which is the triangle. And, ooh, Mercury in Capricorn. This is an old buildings. This is basically government buildings. So there is there. It looks like bad politicians are having a hard time this year because of Epstein. So that's really interesting. Now we are going to look at between. It's going to be probably October, beginning of October to maybe even through November. This is going to be major. And why is it major? Because what is associated with Jeffrey Epstein? Pisces, video. Whoa, it looks like a lot of video. And it's way up in the 10th house of government officials. It's for all to see. So this is quite unnerving. And a lot of people are thinking, maybe that's not going to happen. It sure looks like something's going to happen. It looks like there's going to be some video of females. You can see Venus. Usually Saturn will represent maybe an older female, which we're usually not looking at when it's associated to Epstein, but Saturn can also represent females who are enslaved, who can't move, also sad females and emotional females because of the Pisces. Neptune, video. So we're definitely seeing maybe even some spy types of themes here that are coming in. And I say early October because that's when Pisces starts. his MC this month right here, even though it starts October 19th, Pisces has started a few days before October 19th. So I'm going to say we'll take it to maybe October 5th or something like that. And I'm even going to go through the Aries period because Mars is activating. We're going to look at that too. So looks like there's some women here, and I want to look at the cards, see what they're saying. I always struggle with interpreting what the signs might represent. We all do because it means so much. Trying to explain everything to my Capricorn father, he would get so frustrated. He'd say, "What do you mean? It could be one of 20 things. Is it this or is it not?" And so it's a little ambiguous sometimes. Hello, Miko. And all right. Yeah. So lots of Pisces scandal scams. Could be financial scam, Venus finance. This is a major, major month that's coming up, and of course, we're going to see things up on Capitol Hill. We're going to be seeing speakers, and with part of fortune, that's going to be really interesting because that is successful people. Success of the females to some extent. There are going to be some people who are females who maybe are fighting and they are way out there. There's so much video, it's ridiculous. So let's do a card about these females and what's happening in the October 19th or maybe October November time frame. What are we looking at in that time frame that's being reflected in Jeffrey Epstein's soul return chart for this year? This is wild. Looks like a dark-skinned lady. This is her life purpose. I don't know of anybody who has that profile. 7 of Wands, so interesting. So somebody who wants balance, peace. Pisces is psychics. So we're going to, of course, see a lot of psychics coming out, particularly during that month. So a lot of females. Can we get a clarifier card on this October, November timeframe when Epstein is really going to be out there in the headlines of some of these powerful leaders? Clarifier card to what's going on during this time frame. 2 of Wands, another female. So could be somebody right now who's trying to decide what they want to do, trying to decide if they want to come out in public and say something that maybe not everybody knows of their story yet or knows this information. I don't know. Fascinating, fascinating. Okay. So back to the chart. There's the time frame. Pisces, video, emotions, storms. It's like the government storm. The government is storming. And who is the government? Well, it's not necessarily Trump because he's the sun. He is kind of the boss of the chart. If it was your solar return chart, if you wanted to look at what your boss was doing this year, you would look to the sun and you would also look to the eighth house. The eighth house is like the top level. And here we've got Mars in the second house. This is a wealthy man. And when you can see that there's a blue line here, which is a trine to Neptune. This is pretty big. This is a big one. Why? Because North Node is in here. This is a enhancer. This is gasoline on this river of emotions. I thought we were already done all of this, but apparently there's a lot more information that we're going to be seeing. uh, I think it's going to happen. Now, Mars rules the 11th house, which is social media. So it looks like a big flood on social media. And I think it might have to do with these pictures of maybe this female or a bunch of females. So, Neptune can mean sex movies, the P word. So we might be seeing a lot of people mentioning that on social media. So that's the 11th house, and this is Mars. This is a guy too, wealthy guy. and it's not Epstein necessarily. I don't know, who is this man coming out? This is a man coming out, he may have already in February, and but it's really gonna be activating around the November timeframe. Mars in Cancer. Sometimes this is a man who helps, sometimes this is a famous man. If in poor aspect, it can mean an abusive person. But since there's a trine, at least that I'm looking at, to Venus, these are maybe female activists. We might see Gloria Allred come out here, and that might be because of Aries. It's red, Gloria Allred. So Saturn is also a lawyer. So we're seeing a lawyer next to a female. This is another reveal. This is another reveal. And if they do it right, they're going to do it in the beginning of October because that's before the next retrograde, Mercury retrograde. Always want to do it before the retrograde if you're going to launch something. So is this a female lawyer like Gloria Allred coming out to advocate something or to fight for something maybe in October? And Five of Pentacles. Seems like yes. Maybe that's her client there. And tell us more. Tell us more about who this person is that's coming out. Saturn is sad, and conjunct Venus, that is a sad woman. Sad woman who disappeared, maybe. Oh, I hope it's not about a disappearance. Maybe women disappearing, foreign women disappearing because of the North Node. Clarifier card on who this lawyer could be who is helping or advocating. Six of Pentacles. So this might be something where women were given um, some kind of financial benefit. There might be some kind of financial secret financial arrangement. So, hey, Starfire, who wanted to know my NDA was with? Johnny Depp's lawyer? Yeah, possibly. It's a good call because she's kind of an Aries type. Angel, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't know what has been happening recently, but I've had the worst and most vivid nightmares recently. Well, sometimes this isn't very astrological of me, but sometimes it's because you eat before bed. So I don't know if you've done that, but also the planets are just a little wacky right now. Things are starting to smooth out a little bit. So the next couple of weeks, you're going to feel a little bit better, I think. Yes, Camille Vasquez, right. Um, yes. Okay. All right. So back to the chart. And man, we got somebody fighting. It's a female and it's a lawyer, and they are coming out. This is a whopper. This is a big one. I've said that before, but those of you who followed me have seen that when I call it a whopper, it is definitely one. This is huge. It's a huge scandal. And it has to do with maybe even missing women or maybe crying women out in public. Maybe they're testifying in Congress or something else. All right, so I'm going to move on just because I wanted to look. If you go to your progressed chart, that's your birth chart now. That's when all of the planets have progressed. Sometimes they you know they kind of move together. Sometimes they'll move apart. Can cause some really, really strong energy. And sometimes you're like, what has been happening in the last few years? Well, you probably have a stellium that has formed in your progressed chart. So what I did was for Epstein and his um, progressed chart on the day of his death. Well, let me show you. First of all, we've got North Node, which means fake. And I've said this before in the last Epstein show I did. And Aquarius means non alive or unalive. So a fake S, you know what I mean? So this could mean that Aquarius showing that S word, unaliving, and North Node is to be false. So this is a clue, I think. But the other thing too is that check this out. We've got Aquarius rising for the progressed chart for Epstein, and there is a square to Mars. And I'm sorry to say, that's a weapon. Okay. It is in Taurus. So this is something that has to do with the neck. Also, keep in mind that at this point, and it's probably a few years before this too, back to 2015, Epstein, this is Epstein. His house is it's right on Algol. So fourth house shows your home. And when it starts to kind of move into the Algol range, which is 26 degrees Taurus, this means if you're not careful, if you're not praying, if you're not putting crosses up, going to church, it can show that devilish things happen in your home. But at that point, he was in jail. And so that was his home. So the devil is all around him. There were a lot of devils. And with the square, though, to Mars here, Venus is retrograde. So it shows kind of a crappy home. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but for him, it's true because he was in a crappy jail. So, you've got also Venus and Mars. You've got a lot of angry women who are part of this narrative that he has going on. And this was August 10th, 2019. So I thought it was really interesting because it shows some kind of real anger. It shows uh, trying to fight and losing. Whenever you have a square to Mars, that is losing a fight about something. But one other thing I thought was really interesting too, and that is that the sun in Epstein's chart, which is your body, it is squaring Pluto in Epstein's chart, and that is murder. So I absolutely think that he was. And the seventh house in Taurus, and I'm sorry, in Leo. Well, Leo is a partner. Leo is an employment contract, but partnerships in general. And so with Pluto in the partnership house of the seventh, and it's squaring the sun in Aries. Well, it shows that a partner is very, very angry because of sun in Aries with the square to Pluto. Angry, and Pluto represents Scorpio things, which is death and murder. So there's some murder themes here. Now we're going to look at Bill Clinton's chart, and this is pretty interesting. This dropped July 24th. Wall Street Journal report reveals Bill Clinton's 50th birthday note to Jeffrey Epstein. So, and they go on and talk about it, and it's kind of sketch. I can't remember what it said though. We'll have to look it up. But this is Clinton's 2025 birth chart. So he had that note dropped in his 2024 solar return. His 2025 starts in 4 days. Whoa, we've got some stuff coming up here for Clinton. First of all, it looks like at first something happens that is kind of shocking in a good way for him. And it has to do with a lot of females that they like him, and they're sexy females too. This is weird. Okay. This is just weird. We've got Black Moon Lilith right here. Venus and Jupiter in the ninth house. These are like college girls. And North Node in Pisces shows video and photos. There's something here that's coming out. It just looks like he's associated with a lot of women, a lot of famous women too. So I'm not sure exactly how that's going to play out, but there's a little problem here. Black Moon Lilith is squaring the sun. And the sun in Clinton's chart this year is probably Trump. He is, this is like a shot across the bow. I don't know what it's about. It might be jealousy because Trump is getting a lot more heat for Epstein right now than Clinton is. But it's sort of like throwing Clinton under the bus. It's kind of like two villains who are trying to destroy each other. And that really comes in, like, I'd say in the next couple of weeks. Not sure what that's about, so we could do some cards for that, see if we can get any information. Oh, Jen, you read the note. That note was bizarre as was the Woody Allen note to Epstein, yeah. And, I just love a certain, powerful man who said, "I don't draw." And then one day later, we see all of his drawings, and one was even for sale in Sotheby's. What's happening with Clinton and Trump in the next few weeks? 7 of Cups reversed isn't actually that bad. It's kind of like reversing the decision paralysis and moving forward. So maybe something's coming up where they're moving forward. I love how it's on the beach, which is so Neptunian. Can you give us a clarifier card on Clinton and why there's this bad Black Moon Lilith between him and Trump in August, early September? Yeah, King of Wands. Strength, testing strength. So it looks like maybe some bullying. Could this be bullying Clinton? Is Trump bullying Clinton in August and September? And will we see it in the headlines? Hierophant. Looks like yes. Looks like maybe through the government, government contacts, government sources. Something that has to do with the government or a staircase. I'm not sure. Reminds me of Jurassic Park with, the velociraptors and the other dinosaurs. They're all trying to kill each other. The thing for Clinton, I was looking at his solar return chart. He's got Pluto coming in, and this is early November, and it is in kind of a bad aspect. So I'm going to say there's a couple of times in Clinton's year that are going to be particularly challenging. It's going to be right in November. Maybe a lot of stuff's going to happen in October, and then something is going to be reported on. It looks shocking. It looks shocking. Early November, and then also in May when Leo starts to activate there. Mercury is the message. Mercury is talking. And it's also, I think this is a tell all, guys. I think it's coming out here because it's shocking. Aquarius and Mercury, we've seen this already before, that with Prince Andrew and all. This is a tell-all maybe that's coming out. Yeah, it's the May timeframe. This is May 2026. We've got Uranus in a square, something that might have something to do with Clinton and Trump. And it's a really big, big shock. It's for all to see. I'll say that. Eighth house. It could be something that's really hurtful to Clinton and his legacy. And it actually, because Uranus is showing up here right after the March 19th period. And for anybody who's just joining us and doesn't know how we do this, this is a solar return chart. We look at every house as a month. And so we count around counterclockwise. So for Clinton, probably around March 20th to March 25th, it is a big, big shock. I think it affects Clinton. It's hurtful to both him and Trump. What are we seeing here with this shock? I mean, this is a big, big shock. Early spring. I wasn't thinking of going so far into the future here, but I mean, this looks pretty substantial here. What are we looking at regarding the Uranus square the sun in Clinton's 2025 predictive solar return chart? Whoa. Okay. Keep in mind, remember that Uranus is in Gemini. We'll look at the card I just got. Looks like women that are bound. 2 women, and they could be twins. So a twin shock coming up. I don't know. Usually you get twins when you see a king. Let's get a clarifier card for around the end of March coming in. A big shock. End of March 2026. What does this Eight of Swords mean? I swear I shuffled. Got the Emperor again. So we're talking about somebody in power, and could be a group of women or 2 women that are bound. And it is quite shocking. People can't believe it. Are these women, are they going to talk? Sometimes they don't because they're no longer with us, if you know what I mean. Okay, Knight of Wands. Looks like no, they're not going to. Looks like young women having fun. So could just be pictures that we're seeing, maybe shocking pictures, shocking documents. Uranus in Gemini, Gemini's documents, shocking presidential documents that might be coming up. Yeah, have you noticed these men have daughters? Good one, Angel. Those old political dinosaurs still trying to end each other, in my opinion, totally. Jurassic Park, all the old fossil dinosaurs. Yeah, he's just getting started. Staircases. So, yeah. All right. So that's Clinton's. Clinton's looks like, I mean, there are some nice things for him, nice, easy things. There's a Grand Trine in there, which is very positive, which is, can't really see it, but it's right here. Things go pretty fast for him. He might actually be getting a place out of the he might be going to, like, Japan because this is Uranus, or I'm sorry, this is, Libra. Libra is an Asian country, and I wonder if we're gonna see any themes maybe with Asian women, I don't know, but it looks like he is it's possible he's traveling to Italy, which would be the Lord of the Ninth is in the 8th, and it's in Gemini, which shows Italy and also like countries like Iran and Iraq. I'm gonna guess it's probably Italy, but then also with Libra here, could show there might be some interest in traveling abroad because of the 12th house. 12th house is to be hidden. Why is one hidden often? Well, because they're abroad and we can't see them. That could be one reason. So, and of course, Clinton's chart starts on August 19th because that's when his birthday begins, the chart. Super intrigued about this Black Moon Lilith, though. Uh, Sometimes when you have a lot of trines with Black Moon Lilith, it can show that you have a plan, that you have a strategy, that you can get away with something. And it really looks like he's getting good press, which is really hard to believe because of that trine to really benefic planets. So it's not until around this period, which is in maybe a earlier part of February, that it seems as if there's something that's reported that women are getting hurt because Chiron is here, or women are wounded. So that could be February 2026 as well as late April 2026. What does that mean? Doesn't necessarily mean that Clinton wounded them, but there could be claims. There could be ninth house is publications. He might even have a publication coming out that's going to drop in a time period that's very strategic. And so that's a possibility. Ninth house with such benefics, it's a great, great time to publish. Okay. The biggest thing about Clinton's solar return chart is you can see a T square here. And the problem is that Mercury up at the top is it's either tell all, but sometimes it can mean kids. And the opposition with Pluto, well, we know that Pluto can mean the R word. So it's not that Clinton necessarily is guilty of doing anything heinous, but because it's the T square to the rising sign, and that is one T square, let me tell you. And the oh God, the rising sign is in Scorpio, which is also having, you know what, SEX. This is not necessarily very good for him. And I think it's really going to get heat around May. Still, there's gonna be some whisperings about it in November, and, I mean, these are young Mercury lovers, which would be Leo, and it really hurts him this year, it really hurts his legacy. Why would you say that? Because the rising sign is your symbol, how everybody sees you this year, and yikes, everybody sees you as somebody who's kinda scorpionic, somebody who likes, a certain pastime. Real estate. Now, this is Trump's 2019 solar return. I just wanted to take a look at it. And remember, they were friends. So I would look at the 11th house for Trump, for Epstein in Trump's chart. And it's in Aquarius, which would represent an unaliving. So in the year that Epstein would be allegedly unaliving himself. This is going to show up in Trump's chart as friend and Aquarius, friend shock. Okay. So Venus is here, and Venus is in the second house. So showing in Trump's chart a very wealthy person. And look how there's a square to Black Moon Lilith. This guy is dark. He is a wild man. Doesn't care about anybody but himself. And second house, like I said, is wealth. So getting his wealth from someplace, but nobody knows because it's in the 12th house of foreign places. It also shows that he is in jail because of the 12th house. And the only thing that really shows what happened to Epstein is that Aquarius. So this would all go down on August 10th. So that would have been right in here. And Mercury would be activated. So this is kind of a shock. The opposition was Saturn, Pluto, and South Node. This is a T square here. And with Uranus over here, oh yeah, this is a big shock, I think. I don't think Trump had, not to say that Trump is, innocent in this type of thing, but I don't think I think that maybe there was some betrayal with Epstein and between Epstein and Trump, but it doesn't seem as if there's a direct correlation, at least in the chart that I'm looking at. So you'll have to tell me what you think. What will happen to Maxwell, I wonder? It's a good question. So let's take a look at that. Epstein's 2025. We're going to look at Epstein. I'm going to say it's his partner. Okay. We could say it's a friend. We could say a business partner. We could say coworker, which would be sixth house. It's probably the seventh house. And so this is for Epstein. So we're going to look at Saturn here. And wow. Oh my God. That's Miss Maxwell right there. And what is she doing? She's talking. Look at that. Sextile to Mercury. What's she talking about? She's talking about the past, Capricorn. She's also talking to government people. So lots of talking, lots of talking. It looks like she's going to be pretty successful in whatever she's trying to do. But there is somebody here who you can see does not want her to talk. Who is that person? Jupiter would represent the 10th house. It would also represent maybe the 6th house, which is hidden enemies, coworkers. Jupiter also represents in a female's chart like a partner. I wonder if this has something to do with her partner. So Jupiter square Saturn, Venus, it's possible that Ghislaine's former partner comes out and talks, or maybe doesn't want her to talk. It sure looks like somebody does not want her to talk. It could be a little bit dangerous for her because, in a sense, Saturn is in Pisces, which represents a jail. So we can see her in the jail. We can see pictures of her. But squaring Gemini usually means that you don't want to talk. You don't want to talk, or you want to talk too much because of the square, but it's behind the scenes. So she might be talking a lot, but we can't see it. The 12th house is the secrets. Now, this could also show that she doesn't want to give away some of the secrets. She's not talking, but she is giving away some secrets, which would be that sextile to Mercury. Just a little bit of information she's going to give so she can get a pardon and get the heck out of there. This is the Trump 2025 chart. And so we start on his birthday, June 14th. And so we're coming around now. It's August 15th, and he is in Scorpio right now. He's going to be in there for a little while till about August, maybe, I don't know, 22nd, 23rd, something like that. And so Pluto's activating. So we see where Pluto is Oh, Pluto's in the 5th house here, a family. It is not easy for him. He oh my god, let's see where Epstein is in his 2025 chart, in Trump's 2025 solar return. Well, the 11th house of friend is the moon. It's in the 4th house of Capricorn, so kind of like memories of a friend who is dead. That would be Capricorn to some extent, at least for the first couple of months, that he's getting help, that Trump's getting help, that something is positive between the energy of Epstein and him. Then what happens is the moon is in that, you see that red line? That's a square to Aries in the 8th house. This shows abuse, could show something about murder. It's kind of like coming out. But what Trump is doing, you could see the blue line. Trump is making it so that you don't see that so much. Blue line is a trine. So he's kind of helping his friend um, in some way, his former friend. I think that he had wounds. And I think, are we going to be seeing some more reports about Jeff Epstein's wounds? And I think it's going to come out probably in October. Jeffrey Epstein's wounds and fighting and losing. What is this? What is this big fight with his former friend Epstein? Are we seeing any kind of maybe new evidence that's coming in October? Oh, Leo card. Happy family. Maybe showing some photos of everybody being, maybe they're all together. Family photos, something like that. But what is the clarifier card for this? Seems like Epstein is, there's something that's really, that Epstein is fighting and losing, even though he's passed, but it's in Trump's chart this year. So what does that mean? It just looks like there's blood. Is there blood involved? Might be something that has to do with information about a relationship, and maybe maybe people are fighting and they do not want it to come out. So it seems as if somebody's fighting, could be even a pregnancy. So is this a pregnancy that did somebody get pregnant here? Seems like it. Judgment card. Judgment. Somebody's going to get judged. Judgment day. I know, Angel. Angel, thanks so much. Welcome, everyone. Please consider clicking the thumbs up, like, subscribe, and turn notifications to all so you can get your notifications. And don't forget to join, because we've got some interesting content coming up, which is tomorrow. If you want to know, if you're ever reading somebody else's charts and they're asking you, do you think somebody that I'm dating or whatever is cheating on me? Well, I'll show you how to see it pretty clearly. This is Trump's solar return chart. I'm going to go back to the cards because I keep looking in these charts and it seems like there is going to be a murder this year. Who's this person who I'm seeing? And Pluto is a murder. All right. It's a shocking murder. Is someone going to be murdered? Regarding the Epstein scandal. Okay, the sun reversed. Can you tell us any information about a potential murder that has to do with the Epstein case? If I'm getting no for a murder, then maybe the time frame isn't right. Because I would say when there's a T square with Pluto, there's some trouble. Usually, if it's in the 5th house for Trump, it's something screwball with the family. It can mean a murder, especially aimed at the 8th house. And there's Venus here, which is a wealthy woman. Is Ghislaine Maxwell safe in 2025 and 2026? I bet she is nervous, anxious. Bet she doesn't sleep. Is Ghislaine Maxwell safe? Looks okay. Looks okay. Clarifier on whether Ghislaine Maxwell has anything to worry about in prison right now with regard to her safety. Ace of Swords. Well, she knows the secrets. Maybe I'm getting that card because she's okay because she knows secrets. She's been communicative that you do anything to me and we're going to open that file down in Argentina or wherever it is. which actually makes me think, where are these supposed videos? Where are these videos? Where are they hidden? I'm really shuffling here. Where are these videos? Oh god, there's so many of them, and they're old. Saturn in Pisces. Some old videos. Hmm. Is that the perfect card for that question? It's like, where are the files? Under which one can we see? And it's sort of like paralysis by analysis. There are actually many places. There is a strategy of where these very scandalous files are. And it's possible that only some of these places where has some damning evidence have been uncovered, but not all of them. Will we see more evidence come to light by Christmas in the Epstein case about the videos? Hanged man. It might have something to do with a woman who can't move, a woman who's stuck, maybe emotionally. So we might be seeing that. I know, Jen. Yeah, Bill Gates' ex-wife wants nothing to do with him. I know. Let's just get a card. I'm not going to ask about Bill Gates, but I want to just get a card, and I just want to say, Bill Gates. So much conspiracy around Gates. Oh my God. He looks so well. Before we saw him getting on Lolita Express, it did seem like he had this innocent quality about him. But can we get a card for Bill Gates? What do you think it's going to be? Hmm. And if you're pulling your cards, I want to know what you're getting. Oh, the Fool reversed. He's just a fool. He tried to start something with maybe a female, and it went awry. Uh, the beginning, it didn't take off. Whatever he was trying to do didn't take off. But isn't that funny that just a card for Bill Gates and you get the Fool? It's so funny. And I'm sure his ex-wife would think the same thing, based on her experience. At least you think they'll ship her out somewhere. Yeah. It's possible. It's a lot of water. So maybe to an island. You got the Wheel of Fortune. So it could go either way with Bill Gates. I wonder what the wheel has to do with him. Maybe transportation. I think he's doing something new with transportation. Let me look it up. Bill Gates next project. His latest project is a nuclear power plant called Natrium being built in Wyoming by his company TerraPower. This project involves sodium cooled fast reactor design aiming to provide a safer, more efficient, and cost effective way to generate nuclear power. The Natrium reactor incorporates a molten salt energy storage system to complement the intermittent nature of renewable energy sources. Wow. That's amazing. Only somebody who is very high level in their thinking, like an Einstein would think of doing something like that. Except maybe Angel. Angel, you probably dreamt something like this. He came out with synthetic butter yesterday. Really gross. Starfire, you got reversed Six of Cups. Oh, we're getting a lot of Six of Cups. Storage keyword. Mm-hmm. I don't know. When there's somebody truly evil in the news or the press, often, I'm not saying all the time, but often I'll get a really bad feeling. I don't even want to have a show about the person. It it hasn't stopped me in some of my shows, but I usually just like, ugh, don't even want to talk about them. And here we are talking about Epstein. But as far as like Gates, I don't get that gut punch feeling for some reason. I don't know. Okay. So basically what we're looking at is we're coming out for Trump. We are coming out of this Plutonian, betrayals. Right now he's meeting Putin, Trump's meeting Putin, and where's Pluto? Pluto's here. He's There's a trine to Uranus in the ninth house. So, yeah, it makes sense. He's meeting someone from a faraway land, trying to make deals, but he's kind of stopped this because of that T square, that red orange or that red triangle. So we're going to be coming into the Sag period. That's any day now. Whoa. Something is not right here. I think I saw this in an earlier show, but I can't remember. So he's going to change to Jupiter here. Third house is in a car. It's in a car, and it's also transportation, any vehicle, and it is emails. And so we've got a square to Saturn and Neptune. This is really big. This is not what Trump wants. This is not what he wants. Lucky for him, there is a triangle here. You can see this triangle. This is very helpful. Very helpful. It just shows that he's going to have some wins and it's going to make him feel good. But Aries represents your blood. This could be a health issue. And this is like an old doctor who's maybe saying he's too slow. He's like, well, we can get to it in a couple months. And Trump actually needs help right away. Could be something health related. But what is this Jupiter squaring uh, Saturn and Neptune in Aries? I mean, this this looks like it could be pretty serious. So let's go to the cards. I know, I'm the same way. I find any video footage hard to believe these days. AI has gotten too good too fast. I know. Yeah, I was watching something where a guy was proposing to um, his girlfriend, and he ended up slipping and then falling into like this big body of water. And it was off of a cliff or something. And it was so good, except once he went all the way down the cliff, it didn't look right. It looked like uh, it didn't look human what happened. So I was like, oh, and I was freaking out when I saw it at first because it really did look real. So not 100%. It's daunting. It's daunting because there are a lot of things that could come up that are lies, that are made up, that are fake, that could scare us. Jen, you said they drove around in a car together before Putin hit the red carpet in Alaska. Lisa James, in terms of his President Trump's health, he had very swollen ankles in a photo I saw. Yeah. And they're talking about like blood issues, I think. So ankles would be Uranus and it would also be Aquarius. So let's see. Yeah, we're going to be, you're going to be seeing people talking about his ankles. And I mean, it was already in July because what's happening here? Look at that. Oops. This is Pluto and Aquarius. This is your ankles. And also, Uranus is ankles too. So that might be coming up. Yeah, it might be around late February timeframe. You've got a square to Mars, which is pain in the ankles. But as far as, let's look at Epstein again. That would be the 11th house. And we're going to look for the moon. And the moon is down here. So, wow, you can really, really see. And we were just looking at this the other minute, but probably early October, 8th house. Now, this is Trump's bosses. This is the high level, who is over you, who has power over you. So this is the military, but it could also be maybe congressmen, maybe something that has to do with the Armed Services Committee. That doesn't make any sense because all it is just it's his friend losing a battle of some sort, and I think it could be wounds. So they're really, really talking about Epstein early October, probably. I don't know, it's hard to say. The 10th house is the government. So spring will be some pretty big stuff about Epstein for Trump. But let me see. Mercury. Yeah, you could already see that Trump was really getting hit hard as Mercury was activating here in the 10th house and wasn't so good for him. It was a little bit scandalous what was happening. MAGA is turning against him, if you believe what the headlines are saying. But I think there's some issues with his health as well as his well-being because of the T square. I want to say that as we come in here in the early, or I should say the late summer, this is of a concern, Jupiter here, because it squares Saturn. I mean, what do you want? It it almost looks as if, does Trump disappear? Do we not know where he is at this time period? Because Neptune in a square can show someone vanishes. We can't see them anymore, at least for a little time period. And I know, Jen, me too. Um, yes, edema. And okay. All right. So let me figure out what's going on here. This is in September. This is coming up. This is big, big, big stuff. Oh, is Trump going to disappear? Are we not going to be able to see what happened to him? 8 of Cups, he's walking away from something. He might be a little bit frustrated. 8 of Cups, clarifier card for Trump. And isn't that interesting? You're seeing water there. Neptune, Saturn, just walking away, giving up. He is frustrated. He's tired. He's tired. You got to think it has to do with Putin, but clarifier card on what's happening with Trump in September, which looks like he's pretty depressed. Star card. Interesting. Star card often shows um, drones, explosions, bombs, bombs. So maybe he has something to do with them. Maybe that's why he's disappearing because he's trying to escape something. Is Trump trying to escape something in whoa, God, that flew out in September. And I don't know if this is reverse or not, but yeah, looks like the emperor came back. We got the emperor 3 times in this show, didn't we? So this could be just trying to escape the emperor. This is an escape. This is a sickness. This is a feeling of depression. It's it might be medication. Medication is making him tired because Neptune's conjunct Saturn. So I'm not sure. Angel, you said very out of character for him to disappear. Maybe health issues. Yeah, that's a good point. And Jen, Page of Wands. Starfire, you just got change of residence. Yeah, that's possible. And Jen, you did ask, I was a little bit flippant with this question, but it's, maybe Trump has bosses we don't know about. Maybe the bosses are in Eastern Europe, North, if you get my drift, in cities that begin with the letter M. Let's pull a card for who Trump's bosses are. Everybody's got to have a boss. His boss's money. His boss is Bitcoin. Um, that's interesting. So it is a young person or a younger person. Clarify a card on who Trump's boss is, which is represented in the eighth house of your solar return chart. Two of Cups, it's Melania. We already knew that, but maybe a partnership here. Page of Pentacles could be a group of young people. I don't know. I haven't even thought about that. That it could be a yeah. I guess a lot of people are younger than Trump, but that looks pretty young. So I have no idea. Yeah, I got who shows them the money exactly. Angel D, of course, purely speculating and for entertainment purposes only. Yes, he's supposed to go visit King Charles in September. Thank you. I totally forgot about that. So, if that is the case, normally this would be Leo up here. Hmm. Well, I mean, Sag is traveling, it's long distance travel. And then Saturn comes in. Yeah, it looks like he's fighting. He's fighting about something. It's pretty bad. I think it's the allies. Yeah, everybody's upset at him. Um, and he's not going to be winning. He's not going to be winning a lot of things here. He's just so super angry, but also sick too at the same time. So now Jupiter in Cancer is a very large home, and he's trying to do something with his home. And notice how North Node is in a square. You're supposed to get that when North Node is well aspected. Maybe you're supposed to get a big home. Not that he doesn't already have one. Maybe he wants another one. It's funny, Starfire, you said something about a home, but North Node in a square here. It's actually in a T square. He really wants something and he can't have it. And it looks like video. And I think I saw that last time, North Node in Pisces. He wants video, but we've got, yeah, Jupiter scoring Saturn and the Sun scoring the North Node. Now, his health this year is Uranus. So, yeah, he might just be taking a break, taking a load off. And then we might see some big headlines coming in, maybe late February, about his health because Uranus represents the health for him this year. Also represents ankles and represents the attic. He's somewhere up high. He's in one of his skyscrapers, but also sudden bullying too because of the Leo. Now remember that Mars square Uranus is a heart attack. So that we talked about that in the past too. So he's got to watch what he eats and also see the doctor regularly. So it was interesting to see some of the things that we could pull out of the Epstein case, but it certainly looks like there's some things coming up that have to do with the video. And did we ask the card if we're going to be seeing any video coming out in the next few months? Any new video from Epstein coming out in the next few months that nobody's ever seen before? Could be corn, the cornography. Knight of Cups looks like a yes. Might be seeing some romance and, ugh. Clarifier card on Knight of Cups. This is still somebody royal. This maybe there's somebody, maybe there's some powerful people who are younger in some of these videos. The clarifier card. Got the Sun again. And looks like a lot of blondes. The Sun is a power card. So showing a lot of power, showing trying to romance maybe a female or somebody who looks like that in the card. Thanks, Angel D. All right, I hope to see you guys tomorrow. And thanks, Buckeye. Don't forget to hit the likes. And I'll see you tomorrow. Members, we're going to look at the betrayal charts. They're so fascinating. And also how, I don't know why, but these men who have these very dark energies, they grow that devil beard. So it's almost like the beard of betrayal. So we're going to take a look at that. All right, guys, have a great night. Thanks so much for joining me.